Perception is reality. However, it's not that simple. What you see and what you believe is what is real. But there are other things that are real too. So let's talk about this today as far as what it is that our minds make out of this world. Much like the movie The Matrix, the information that's put into us is everything that is real.
This will feel a little weird. This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right? What we actually take in through our eyes, our ears, and through our senses are what makes up our reality. We, you and I, don't have anything else to go off of. Just like when you hear about history, when you're studying the world, all you have to go off of is other people's stories, artifacts, things that is outside of you. So, with that being said, you and I live in our minds mostly. That doesn't mean that the world isn't real. You have people like Descartes, Rene Descartes, I believe his name is. He says, "I think, therefore I am." And he had this idea back in the day that the only way I can know if I am real is to reduce down everything in reality from being fake or not fake, right? By deducing that the things that I see may be an illusion. It might be all a conjuring of a demon, kind of like the movie The Matrix. And I can't trust my senses. But however, what I can do, man, this woods is very steep. Get hung up on things. Is know that my thoughts are my own. And that what I perceive can't be trusted. And his idea being that your thoughts are the only thing you can trust is a proof in and of itself that you exist, because you can think independently of reality. Therefore, you exist in your mind, and that your mind is the only thing that's real, which is an interesting idea. And at the time when he came up with it, it was very revolutionary. Now, you can, from that, based off of if you've lived a life on planet Earth and you've taken in information and everything through your eyes, your ears, your senses, etc., then your thoughts, your very paradigm that you've created in your mind, is basically a sub-universe of the real one. It's not a full like image of what the universe is. It's kind of like a rough sketch. And so, that being said, this whole idea of perception being reality, it's kind of like saying more or less, there's a real world and there's all these things in it. However, all that really matters is the world that you are actually internalizing in your brain. Okay, maybe that's true, but here's some problems with that. Your five senses, much like the Matrix, they could be all falsified, this information, and it could be very difficult for you to make heads or tails of the reality that you're in if you're getting fed false information, right? So, that being said, you have to call into question, are these five senses that you have very accurate? Can you actually make anything out of them? And There's a lot of info on this as far as a lot of scientific studies and tests where they have actually tried to figure out how good are our senses, how accurate are they, and what they've come up with is your senses are not that good. They are really abysmal in many ways. And these like things that you can do, like see, touch, taste, smell, if they're not used correctly, if they're not directed correctly, you will be highly misled about this reality you live in, this universe, who we are, what we are, etc. And here's the tricky part too, on top of that, is you may have these five senses working very well. Maybe you have all your faculties, you have 20/20 vision, all this stuff, but if they're not directed correctly, then they are going to be of no use to you, right? If you misuse the tools you are given, you really won't come to a strong understanding of reality as it is. And you'll end up more confused than ever. So if we're going to try and navigate this world, we have to direct ourselves correctly. We have to have a true aim, a correct alignment with reality. Now, to showcase this, there's a lot of tests you can do to illustrate how off you are or how on you are. I'm going to have one of those tests put into this video right now. Go ahead and do it. And then at the end, you'll see kind of what it is that I'm showcasing here.
This is the shell game. I'm going to hide this Hershey's Kiss under this cup, and the object is for you to pay attention and follow along and try to guess which cup the Hershey's Kiss is under at the end. Try to guess if it's in the left cup, the middle cup, or the right cup. Let's check the left cup. The middle cup? If you guess the middle cup, you got it right. So now we're gonna make it a little more complicated. I've added an extra pair of hands and I've added additional colors here. But that's only to distract you from the pink cups. The pink cups will always have, one of the pink cups will always have the Hershey Kiss underneath. So let's get started. So can you guess where the Hershey Kiss is?
You just watched one of the selective attention tests. This is just one of many. There are dozens of these. This has been well studied. What you're witnessing is what is called your reticular activation system. Your mind is a very powerful tool. You can pull in so much information. You can detect so many things. Like, look at this scenery around me, for example. There's so much to look at, but I can't recognize it all. I can't tell you every species of tree and all the leaves that are out there, and I can't listen to every sound, but I can set my awareness on what matters or what's relevant to my purposes. That's what that test showcases. And there are many things in life that can be very valuable to you that you're just not paying attention to. Have you ever noticed, this is the perfect example, how some people in life seem to be far more successful, happier, have better lives than others? How they just seem to just naturally flow, and they get things. They have a better understanding of reality. Well, a lot of that is due to their ability to set their attention on the correct things. This is very important. Now, I know this is true, and I can prove it to you. For example, let's talk about homeless people. Have you ever seen someone who walks around? They don't have a home. Their life is a mess. They're in shambles. And you just look at them and you're like, well, if they just did this one thing, their life would be fixed. I've tried to help them. I try not to talk about it, but I have in the past tried to give homeless people a hand. You see them on the side of the road with signs, need money for food, whatever. And you go and you try and talk to them and you say, hey, what is it you need? I see that you can't quite get yourself together or whatever, and you're looking for help. I'm not going to give you money, but if you'd like, I can help find you a place to stay. And I can even help you get back on your feet and give you a job. And they're there and they don't want it. You talk to them and it's like, hey, I can do this for you. And it'll be simple. I mean, even you, most of the time, I'm sure you've seen these people and you're like, why can't they just figure it out? I mean, at very least, you could go and you'd get a minimum wage job at some type of fast food place or something, and at least get a motel. I mean, very quickly, someone will take you on. And there's always some type of excuse, like, you don't understand my scenario, you don't know what I'm going through. And they look perfectly healthy and capable. These people, they can do whatever it is that they need to survive, but their attention is on the wrong things. They don't see any opportunity in life. All they see is negativity. Their life is a mess. They think everyone's out to get them. They think that people are holding them down and that there's no way that there could be enough money out there. The only reason that anyone has ever become rich is because they took it. They stole from other people. And they think that their life is going to always be hopeless, especially with things like alcohol and drugs. Those people, very similar. But if they could reset themselves and see the opportunity, they would be able to actually change their life. Now, this all being said, you and I, right? If we want to have better lives, or we just have a mission or a goal, we have to realize that what we let into our mind, what we pay attention to, is how our life will turn out. Now, old religions all over the world, they understood this. They had an understanding of why your brain acted in this way. Because at the end of the day, all it comes down to is that this is a vast world with many threats, many things that are happening in it that could harm you, that could end up causing you to no longer live. And if you try to pay attention to everything, you won't be able to notice those threats. There's other very strong scientific studies on this where they do tests to see if people recognize faces in different objects, and it's actually way oversensitized in people's brains to notice faces everywhere. Like in the woods, you're walking through and you see leaves in a certain pattern, and you think it's the face of a person or an outline of a man or some type of animal. And this causes you to be in high alert, always looking out for danger to try and survive. Well, that same wiring and circuitry that's in your brain that's always trying to help you survive is bogging down your brain. It is causing you to miss all the opportunities because you can only process so much at a time. So these religions, what they figured out a long time ago was you have to practice seeing the good in life or in reality. And a common thing they would do is say you have to pray and thank God every day. You have to give thanks and you have to be grateful. You have to be in a place of gratitude. And here's why. If you are in a place of gratitude, you are assuming abundance. You are saying, I am thankful for what I have, and you're assuming that you have things. You're illustrating to yourself that you are not in a place of fear or scarcity. When you do this, you will retune, you will retarget your attention to see more opportunity and more possibility. This is key. This is like I'm handing you a gold nugget right now. With that all being said, if you are also in a place of fear or in scarcity, guess what you're going to put more attention on? Your thoughts that loop during the day. If you're thinking negative things, if you're ungrateful, if you're upset by every negative thing that happens to you, you're going to be more alert for those negative things. There's in the Bible, they say, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Now, there's also the 7 deadly sins: gluttony, fear, greed, hate, loathing, and something else. I can't remember. But the point is that the state of your mind throughout the day is going to set what your attention goes on to. And in a world of extreme abundance and so many things, it's everywhere. You will notice more of it and you will notice the opportunities. Now, that's not to say that you're instantly going to become wealthy and rich and that you're going to get everything you want just because you notice these things. You still have to take the opportunities that are in front of you. You still have to actually take action, right? But I guarantee you, if you loop on negative things all the time, if you focus on the mind parasite, as Eckhart Tolle would call it, then you're going to get out what you put in. Those who sow the wind will reap the whirlwind, right? Now, with all of this, you might be beginning to ask, well, what should I put my attention on? What should I pay attention to? Well, there's the general things of gratitude and being thankful throughout your day, being positive. If you meet many rich people in life, you'll notice they're actually very positive most of the time. And if you hang around a lot of poor people, you notice they actually, they complain a lot, and they actually all the time are negative things. They're always looping. And you go to hang out. What do poor people do most of the time? They go to the bar, they drink, and they complain about their job. But what you need to do is spend your time being positive. If you're in the trenches of a war, it doesn't help anyone to start complaining, and it doesn't help anyone to be negative and start crying. You have to be tough, you have to be resilient, and you have to push through. It's a test. And when I say a test, I'm not directly saying like a divine intervention, but it's a test of yourself internally. But it could be divine too, who knows? So with this all being said, what is the ultimate aim? What is the thing that you should put your focus on in order to be able to actually have more successes in whatever your endeavors are? The answer that I have come to, I will cut to the chase, is truth. Truth is the ultimate aim for your reticular activation system, what you want to aim your focus on and retarget on continually. Some people will say your focus should be on good. Your focus should be on God. It should be on something that's a higher power. Now, here's the thing, the problem. The first thing is the problem with focusing on good. Yes, you could have a lot of benefits from that. It's certainly far better than just focusing on negative things all the time. But here's the thing. There is such a thing as negative. There is such a thing as positive. If all you do is focus on good, you can become some type of gullible and kind of, compromised person that can be taken advantage of. Have you ever met an old lady who is very good-hearted, who gets scammed by someone who's probably over in India on the other line? You can't assume a good intention in everything, but yet at the same time, you can't assume negative intention in everything. And here's the other God, putting God at the center or the very peak of your internal hierarchy. If you put God at the very top, well, to begin with, how do you know you are picking the right God? Now, this is very contentious, what I'm saying right here, because everyone thinks they have the right God, right? Let me ask you this, just as a starter. If you believe in a specific God, right? What about all the people who believe in a different God? If they set their intention on the wrong one, are they going to reach the highest peaks? Are they going to reach the truest alignment with reality? This is the risk. And now you could say with absolute confidence, my God is the true God, right? Maybe it is. I'm not trying to tell you it's not. I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong. What I'm saying is, for the possibility you are wrong, I can give you an alternative that is even better and will still allow you to be able to choose your God. This is the key. This is mental frameworks. The answer is truth. Truth is the highest aim. And here is why. Let us pretend your only interest in life is finding truth, finding what is real. You will be aligned so that you are both aware of negative and positive. I don't like to call them good and bad. You don't want to place a judgment on it just because it has a negative connotation. We need a balance of both for reality to exist. And you don't fall into the trap of falling into the wrong God. There's even many versions of one religion of God. Like every religion has their own sect. The Muslims have their own sect. You have Sunni, Shia. The Christians have 1,000, Catholicism, Protestantism, etc. Right? What you need to focus on is what is the real. And if you focus on what is the real in reality, guess what? You will come to the conclusion of whether you are following the right God through truth. You'll end up there. Or if there is no God, you will end up there. The point is, when you set your higher aim on what is real, you will parse out everything and you will come to the correct conclusions. Truth should be your God. Do not worry about this. Your God will not become angry by you thinking that thought. He is truth, the one creator, the one source, the monad, whatever you want to call the creative force of reality, is the truest truth. Now, here's what's amazing about this. Pay attention. When you understand this, everything will begin unlocking because your attention will be set on what is the most valuable things. You will not fall to propaganda. You will not be deceived, or at least it'll be much harder to deceive you, assuming that you don't want to be tricked. And you will begin to understand reality for what it is. And you will begin to make progress. And you'll begin to not have an ego around your own thoughts and ideas. You will not be attached to an idea or an ideology. You will be attached to what is correct. And then the universe will start unfolding for you. You'll see things, you'll learn new things. You'll begin to actually have clarity. And your results, when matched up with reality, based off of your actions and whatnot, will produce fruit. Perception being reality has its truths in it. But it only if it exists in your head, the form of the idea of mentalism, like the Kabbalion has, everything is mental. You will exist in the truest, most correct reality when you get this all down in alignment. This is my message for the day. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from this. And this goes much deeper. There's so many more things about this. This is just a cursory overview of this. I'm trying to get a little more detailed in some of my ideas that I've been putting out, slowly warming you guys up to them. And I'm going to try and start putting more detail in these videos of these ideas. But hey, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you think anyone else would like this video, please share it with them. And I appreciate it. Look at that awesome cave up there. Isn't that cool? I've been up there before. It's very beautiful. All right, until next time, have a good one, guys. Bye.